You noble diggers, all stand up now.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about why you don't hate cops enough, or the RCMP.
How bravely you face one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frighten them damn natives to the marrow.
The Royal Canadian Mounted Police are a service of federal police in Canada, right? They are the red coated, brown boot, weird hatted people that you may know from media. They are seen as this jolly kind of humorous lot, right? But they are in fact evil British descendants who have been committing genocide and sedition non-stop since their inception. They are a completely traitorous organization. They should be brought to heel. There should be executions. I hate these people. But we're going to go through it slowly, right? This bit revolves around the fact that the RCMP committed genocide, but like not before the time of radio and instant messages, but in a time post World War II when the state's rules have already been established, the rules for international order, right? And I feel like conservatives who are stupid and I look down on don't understand that there is a strategic necessity to these peace treaties, right? There is no humanism at work. There is no softness at play. There is just survival, right? And so I wanted to go through peace treaties just really quickly, right? What is a peace treaty, right? It is a tool of war. It is a tool of survival for the two states involved, right? The first peace treaty was the Treaty of Kadesh between Egypt and the Hittites. It wasn't because they loved each other or really wanted to do this marriage treaty. They were afraid of the other states around them, right? And with good reason, because the Assyrians would go on to march over both states, right? And those peoples don't exist today. Their languages barely exist today. I think Coptic is around, but Hittite is gone, right? In modern times, peace is even more advanced, right? More intricate. The Peace of Westphalia establishes modern nation states, right? There were 109 parties to that peace, right? The powers assembled a balance that kept any one power from trying to establish hegemony, and that this system allowed each nation state to build up to the greatest heights ever seen through the 1800s. And again, after World War II, we've done it again by creating an intricate orchestra, an intricate concert. There is a game that allows growth in everywhere, right? So the World War II peace treaties, these UN peace treaties that people seem to hate, right? They seem to think are so liberal and so soft, right? They are so much more, they are so beyond you intellectually, right? If you think they're stupid. If you have ever complained about international aid, you're a moron, right? You don't understand that those pennies purchase the world, right? You don't understand. So those are the rules. That is why the rules are important, right? Because they are strategically necessary. And so now I'm going to talk about how the RCMP did a genocide after these rules were set up and why it matters, right? The RCMP between 1950 and 1979 killed 20,000 Inuit sled dogs, right? This was in an effort to stop them from being nomadic, right? To make them sedentary urban people. This clearly fits within the definition of genocide. These people had their culture crushed. Many of them died, right? And just beyond that, think of how sick, how twisted, how empty you have to be ordered to go out and slaughter dogs, and you go, yes sir, right? For only cultural appropriation reasons. But those are humanistic thoughts, right? What does this do in the world, right? How are we supposed to ask for participation in an international liberal order where we can trade with China and Brazil and the Philippines and Indonesia and India, right? If we can't treat our brothers correctly, right? They will feel more empathy to the Inuit than to us, right? We are the world pilferers. We are the world hegemons. We must be expected to act higher, right? And we don't. We act like lower brutes all the time. And to prove it, 79 is pretty recent, right? But the RCMP has done 2 investigations on themselves since then, right? In 2006, they came out and said, oh, all clear, we did nothing wrong. We were operating within policy, right? As much as you hear when a black man is beaten up in the States by a cop, we were operating within policy and procedures at all time. It's sedition, it's traitors, right? The people that conducted that investigation, right? Those were the captains and the lieutenants who were ordered by the commanders at the time to conduct that genocide in the command role at that time, right? And so they ordered people below them, captains and lieutenants, to conduct this investigation and find them not guilty, right? But then 20 years after that, the same people who were lieutenants and captains then are now commanders now. In 2024, they issue an apology. We're sorry. We definitely did do genocide. We shouldn't have done that, right? That's so not enough, right? That's such a slow roll. What is the RCMP thinks the world's stupid, right? They think that they don't have a cell phone, right? These facts are online. We cannot participate in a global order while this seditious institution is in existence. I don't care if the order came from God himself. The UN said, don't, right? Hands off. And they were Nazi order followers. So, an apology. There must be consequences. There's no such thing as a mistake by the state. There can be mistakes the state makes, but they can never admit them to be mistakes, right? The example for this in governance is Thomas Becket under the reign of King Henry II, almost 800 years ago. Henry II, talking about his chief priest, Thomas Becket, or a prominent priest, actually probably better. I think he was chief. I think he was the Archbishop of Canterbury, though. Anyways, Henry II, tired of this guy always trying to harass him for his executive decisions, probably rightly, leans over his throne with his sword and goes, is there not a loyal knight who will rid me of this turbulent priest, right? That's an order from the king to go kill that guy. And 3 knights do. They go out and they butcher him, right? But that's not a real order, right? That's not real governance, right? The order has to be written. It has to be sealed. It has to have been within the governor and council now, right? The king can't just order that, but the king's representation can, right? The prime minister in council with the cabinet can order that. But that doesn't make it lawful, right? The laws must obey the higher laws. Constitutions must now obey the UN, the highest law of the land. Right? And so this order was seditious, of no effect, and everyone involved must meet consequences, seditious, traitorous consequences. We send all RCMP leadership to The Hague to be thoroughly investigated, and we disband them. We disband them as a show of good faith to the world. We can just put new federal police in. They don't need to wear stupid red get-ups, right? They committed genocide. They're Nazi filth. They should be hunted, and I'm willing to just give them justice. I'm so benevolent when it comes to these seditious RCMP traitors. Have a nice day. Hello, you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you. This channel has one mission: to prevent civilizational collapse associated with climate change, to prevent 100 million refugees by 2035, to stop 7 billion from starving to death by 2075. And we will do this through one main vehicle. We mean to unite the Anglosphere. We will do this by convincing the Commonwealth of His Majesty King Charles III to apply for statehood as one. And then with this new power, we will be able to negotiate in good faith with the rest of the world on how to tackle this crisis. Thank you and enjoy.